The Douglas C-47, known as Dakota in the Royal Air Force and Commonwealth Services, became the world's best-known transport aircraft. The type saw widespread use by the Allies during the Second World War and by Allied forces, air forces and airliners post-war. The C-47 Skytrain and C-53 Skytrooper were military versions of a DC-3 airliner. The DC-3 first flew in 1935 and was ordered by America's Airlines. With the outbreak of war, these aircraft were diverted to the Allied forces, followed by 10,000 military variants constructed before production ceased in 1946. Japan and the Soviet Union also built over 2,000 unlicensed copies. The first of 1,900 Dakotas received by the RAF arrived in India in 1942. Dakota served in every theatre of the war, notably in Burma during the D-Day landings and the airborne assault on Arnhem in 1944. Most RAF Dakotas had been retired or sold by 1950, the last active aircraft leaving the service in 1970. The Royal Aircraft Establishment at Farnborough, operated by a former Royal Canadian Air Force example, ZA-947, from 1971 until 1993, where it joined the Battle of Britain memorial flight. British Overseas Airways Corporation, BOAC, took the first deliveries of the Douglas Dakota C-47 in 1943, and the last of approximately 60 aircraft in 1946. During World War II, Dakotas were operated by both the RAF and BOAC. After the war, BOAC sold the fleet, 14 of which went to the British European Airways, when the airline was formed in 1946. One of the Dakotas acted as a testbed for the Rolls-Royce Dart engine. So more on the story of 194 Squadron, who the kit I am building is based upon. Number 194 Squadron was reformed at RAF Lahore, Punjab, on the 13th of October 1942 as a transport unit equipped with Hudsons. It maintained mail and passenger routes in India until it became an airborne forces squadron in September 1943. Douglas Dakotas had started to arrive in May and, with the departure of the last Hudsons in September, 194 Squadron began paratroop training. In February 1944, supply dropping flights to Chinda Army units in Burma began and continued for the rest of the war. In January 1945, a casualty evacuation flight was attached to the squadron, and Simpson Sentinels were used to pick up casualties from small jungle strips. After the end of the war, the squadron was engaged in general transport duties until disbanding at Mingledon on 15th of February 1946. The squadron badge commonly used by the squadron depicted a flying elephant, and the squadron had adopted the motto, "The Friendly Firm," and although their entire fleet of aircraft carried this crest throughout the Burma campaign, Royal Charter never officially recognised it. That same crest can be seen on all three books about the squadron. So, the 194 Squadron were operating and first began in the First World War flying BE-2 and Avro aircraft, the first biplanes. So the Dakotas actually arrived at the Mark III, the model that I'm making, from May 1943 to February 1946. Now they did have a Mark IV version, which is December 1944 to 1946.